All right, ladies and gentlemen, Afghanistan has been in the news as we welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Thanks for being aboard. Are we staying in Afghanistan? Is Karzai going to let us stay? Why do we want to stay? But there's also a brand new book, and it's called Afghanistan, A Distant War. And it is just an unbelievable history with fantastic photos, as you might expect, when it's put together by Robert Nickelsberg, Time magazine photographer. And Robert, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Steve.
Well, thank you. We have a picture of the book, the cover of the book on the screen for those watching at Newsmax TV, and we're going to put up pictures as we go along throughout the conversation. You capture, I mean, not only the people, the young, the old, the tribal, to get a sense of what it's like, but also, of course, the military. Talk about what approach you took in putting this collection together.
Well, each trip in was for a particular assignment, let's say for a 2 to 3 page magazine article, and whatever pictures I could get on the side or running parallel to the story then went into a big trunk if they weren't used in the magazine. So this book is an edit of the pictures that, in fact, many of which weren't published for Time magazine or the New York Times, but it also let me break down each year and particular trips that I made each year for me to get the chronology right.
And how many trips does this book involve? How many trips have you made to Afghanistan?
It's undetermined, actually. I would have to look at all the old passports. But
a lot of frequent flyer miles, then, I guess.
Indeed, but they didn't have the frequent flyer plan, unfortunately.
I'm not surprised.
Right, indeed. And when I lived in India for 12 years, it's only a 2-hour flight from New Delhi, so we could go quite frequently, and whenever the airport was open. So I made close to between 40 and 50 trips.
You know, I'm looking at one picture. If we could put that last one you showed up with the kids, the children, I'd say they range in age from maybe 17 to 8, and there's about 5 or 6 of them in the picture. And what strikes me is none of them are smiling. You know, they're posed, they're looking at you, but not one of them has a smile on their face. Should I be reading anything into that?
Well, actually, as photographers, as journalists, and to document a particular scene or a family or a group of people, you don't really want them smiling.
Right.
I mean, you want their character and personality to come in.
Well, that's what I meant. I didn't think that you said to them smile or cheese, but you also probably didn't say to them, now just stare at me and don't make any facial expressions, because to a person they look troubled.
Well, there's a good chance that they are internally displaced refugees, for instance, and they've been through a lot, particularly carpet bombing and being pushed out by the Soviet army or the Afghan army coming through. Remember, when I got there in 1988, 1 million Afghans had already been killed.
Right.
So that particular picture is soon after my first trip, and that legacy certainly shows in their faces and in their family daily living.
What about the old gentleman with the machine gun or the AK-47 or whatever it is?
You mean standing in front of that group of?
Yes.
Well,
the elderly man. Yeah.
Right. That would come under a victory stare. Really, that's the first Friday prayer in Kabul after the Afghan Mujahideen took control of the city.
And we should point out that, as you said, this is not just America's involvement from 2001 on. This goes back quite some time prior to that. So you give us a whole history of Afghanistan in the book. Again, Afghanistan, A Distant War, just picture after picture after picture. But let me ask you this. What about our plans to stay there in a minimal capacity, so to speak, and now Karzai balking at that? What's your take on that?
I think it's necessary that we do keep a presence there, and the antics that the president is employing right now are just that. It's his fickleness and unpredictability. He does have a game plan, whether or not he's upping the ante, asking for more money. There's always that possibility. But as far, I was there in January of 1989 at the U.S. Embassy. Very cold, snowy, dreary day when they lowered the American flag and closed the embassy. And I thought that was the most absurd thing they could be doing at that point in time. When the Soviet army has retreated, we close our embassy.
Yeah.
That was just foolishness. And
I'm sorry, I was going to
look what happened thereafter. I certainly hope we don't go down to the zero-sum game, but we do need to stay there for training and to be, if it's that classification as a traffic cop, well, so be it. We need to keep participating there.
This is an impossible question in 40 seconds, but I'm a close friend of Sonia Cole, who made that wonderful movie. What's the future of women as you see it there?
I think it's going to improve. It's just slower than we have really patience for, but that's the Afghan way, is not to succumb to Western pressure. They will make significant changes. All
right. Listen, a fascinating book. Robert Nickelsberg, good luck and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Steve. Same to you.
Thank you. Take care. My pleasure. Afghanistan, a distant war, and just a great pictorial of the history of Afghanistan. As I mentioned, predating our post 9/11 involvement, and you should really take a look at that if you so desire. Daniel Pipes, Malcolm Hoenlein, and Mary Matlin will join us in the next hour. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.